Remember when Britain's Got Talent was actually about talent? When anyone, and I mean anyone, could walk on that stage and leave us stunned. Yeah, me neither. Back in 2007, this chaotic little show burst onto our screens like a glitter bomb of weirdness and wonder. It was raw. It was unpredictable. And, believe it or not, it was real. A man with arthritis could moonwalk. A dancing dog could steal the crown. A shy mobile phone salesman could make the whole nation sob with one opera note. It didn't matter who you were or where you came from. If you had it, the stage was yours. But that magic? It's gone. Today, it's golden buzzers, cinematic lighting, and sob stories scripted tighter than a Netflix drama. Pre-fame kids with pre-signed TikTok deals. Talent? Optional. Production value? Mandatory. Somewhere along the line, Britain's Got Talent stopped being a show about talent and became a factory of fame. A polished product with all the sparkle and none of the soul. But before we unravel how it all became fake, we need to rewind to why it ever worked at all. Before we dive in, tell me in the comments, when did you stop believing Britain's Got Talent was real? Was there a specific act that made you say,
"Wait a minute"?
Let's rewind to 2007, when the world of talent shows was about to be flipped upside down. Simon Cowell, the sharp-tongued music mogul who'd already built an empire making hopefuls belt out ballads under blinding studio lights, had a new vision. He'd just launched America's Got Talent in 2006, a wild, anything-goes spectacle that proved people didn't just want singers, they wanted chaos, variety, and the unexpected. Now, it was time to bring that energy across the pond. Enter Britain's Got Talent, BGT, a show that didn't just break the mold, it obliterated it. This wasn't about polished pop stars or predictable sob stories. It was about opening the stage to absolutely anyone with a dream, a skill, or just enough courage to face a crowd. No age limits, no genre restrictions, no rules. You could be a pensioner with a tap dancing routine, a kid with a unicycle, or a dog with a knack for backflips. If you had something to show, BGT gave you a shot. That first season was pure magic because it was raw. No one knew what to expect. Not the judges, not the audience, not even the contestants. The stage was a blank canvas, and the acts painted it with every color of human ambition. Take Paul Potts, a mobile phone salesman from South Wales with a shy smile and a crumpled suit. He looked like he'd wandered into the wrong room. Then he sang Nessun Dorma, and the nation froze. His voice wasn't just beautiful. It was a revelation, a reminder that greatness could hide in the most ordinary places. Within days, he was a household name. By the end of the season, he performed for the Queen. That's the kind of story BGT was built on. Underdogs who didn't just win, but rewrote what winning could mean. Fast forward to 2009, and BGT delivered another seismic moment. Susan Boyle. She walked onto the stage, middle-aged, unassuming, with a frizzy halo of hair and a dress that screamed church picnic. The audience smirked. The judges exchanged skeptical glances. Then she sang I Dreamed a Dream from Les Miserables, and the world stopped spinning. Her performance wasn't just a viral hit. It was a cultural earthquake. Over 100 million YouTube views in under 2 weeks. Headlines from London to Tokyo. Susan became a global icon, not because she was polished or predictable, but because she was the opposite. Her raw talent cut through the cynicism, proving BGT wasn't just a show, it was a platform for miracles. But it wasn't just about solo singers. BGT celebrated every shade of human creativity. Diversity, a dance troupe from London, stormed the stage in 2009 with a performance so sharp, so futuristic, it felt like a glimpse of another dimension. Their win over Susan Boyle shocked everyone, showing that BGT wasn't chained to big voices or tear-jerking ballads. It was about ideas, energy, and impact. Then there was Pudsey, a shaggy dog with a knack for dancing alongside his trainer, Ashley Butler, in 2012. It sounds like it should have been a gimmick, but it wasn't. It was joyful, heartfelt, and undeniably brilliant. When they won, the nation didn't just cheer, they celebrated. A dog took the crown, and somehow, it made perfect sense. Those early seasons were electric because they felt unscripted. There were no over-the-top production tricks, no manipulative violin tracks, no golden buzzers stealing the spotlight. The focus was on the acts, quirky, flawed, and fiercely authentic. The judges, including Simon Cowell, Amanda Holden, and Piers Morgan, were there to react, not to perform. Their feedback, whether brutal or kind, felt real. The audience wasn't spoon-fed emotions. They were invited to discover something extraordinary alongside the panel. In 2009, the BGT finale pulled in 18.3 million viewers, numbers that rivaled global sporting events. People didn't just watch BGT. They believed in it. It was a national ritual, a celebration of the improbable, where a nobody could become a somebody in the span of a single song. The show's genius lay in its simplicity: a stage, a mic, and a chance. It didn't need flashy edits or pre-packaged narratives to hook viewers. It thrived on unpredictability, on the thrill of not knowing who might step into the spotlight next. A 70-year-old tap dancer? A shadow puppet troupe? A kid with a homemade magic trick? Anything was possible, and that's what made BGT feel alive. It wasn't about fame or polish. It was about heart, grit, and the kind of talent that could make you laugh, cry, or leap out of your seat without being told to. But somewhere around 2013 or 2014, the cracks started to show. It was subtle at first, like a slight shift in the wind. The golden buzzer, introduced in 2014 as a rare, career-defining honor, began to lose its weight. Originally, it was a spontaneous act, a judge slamming the button to send an act straight to the live shows, bypassing the usual process. It felt like lightning in a bottle. But soon, it was overused. Judges hit the buzzer with the enthusiasm of a game show host, sometimes multiple times a season. By 2016, it wasn't a moment of magic. It was a gimmick, a predictable cue for the audience to cheer on command. The scarcity that made it special was gone, replaced by a formula that felt more mechanical than heartfelt. The acts began to change, too. Where early seasons showcased amateurs with raw passion, later seasons leaned toward professionals with polished resumes. Take Jonathan Goodwin, an escape artist who appeared in 2020. His stunts were jaw-dropping, but a quick Google revealed he'd performed similar routines on America's Got Talent and other global stages. Or consider dance crews like Attraction, the 2013 winners from Hungary, or Mirza Girls in 2017, who had professional choreography and international gigs before auditioning. These acts were undeniably talented, but they weren't the scrappy underdogs BGT once championed. The show started to feel like a showcase for established performers rather than a launchpad for unknowns. In 2019, 2 of the top 5 acts had verifiable careers abroad, raising eyebrows among fans who wondered, where's the Briton in Britain's Got Talent? The production itself became a character in the story. Auditions were no longer just performances. They were cinematic mini-dramas. Picture this. A contestant steps onto the stage, but before they sing a note, you're hit with a montage. Drone shots of their hometown, slow-motion clips of their kids waving, a voiceover detailing their struggles. The music swells with mournful piano chords, and suddenly, you're not watching a talent show. You're in a Hollywood tearjerker. By 2018, every act seemed to come with a pre-baked backstory, whether it was a lost job, a sick relative, or a childhood dream deferred. One contestant in 2020 claimed he taught himself to sing in a closet to escape family arguments. True or not, it didn't matter. The story was designed to tug at heartstrings, not to reflect reality. This shift wasn't accidental. BGT was chasing virality in a new digital age. YouTube, Twitter, and later TikTok demanded clips that could rack up millions of views in hours. The show's producers leaned into this, crafting moments that were less about live impact and more about shareability. A tearful audition with a sad backstory could be cropped, subtitled, and posted with a caption like, "This will leave you speechless." And it worked. Clips from BGT regularly dominated social media. But the cost was authenticity. The raw, unfiltered energy of a Paul Potts or Susan Boyle was replaced by a polished product, engineered to hit emotional beats with surgical precision. The judges, once unpredictable, slipped into predictable roles. Simon Cowell, the razor-sharp critic who once made contestants quake, softened into a kinder, gentler version of himself. By 2017, his biting sarcasm was tempered with winks and smiles, as if he'd been rebranded for family audiences. Amanda Holden became the emotional anchor, her tears a weekly fixture, oftentimes so perfectly you could set a timer. Alesha Dixon brought edge and enthusiasm, but her critiques rarely strayed from safe encouragement. David Walliams, the comic relief, leaned into quirky humor until his departure in 2022, when Bruno Tonioli took over with his own brand of flamboyant charm. The panel didn't feel like a group of individuals anymore. It felt like a cast, each playing a part in a well-rehearsed script. Even the audience was absorbed into the production. Their reactions, gasps, cheers, standing ovations, began to feel choreographed. Cameras always seemed to find the perfect tear-streaked face in the crowd, as if it had been planted there. By 2020, fans on platforms like Reddit and Twitter started calling it out. BGD wasn't just editing performances, it was editing emotions. The show trained viewers to respond on cue, like Pavlov's dogs hearing a bell. You knew when to cry, the sad backstory, when to cheer, the golden buzzer, and when to gasp, the big reveal. It wasn't a shared discovery anymore. It was a guided tour through a theme park of feelings. The controversies didn't help. In 2019, a ventriloquist act featuring a talking dog raised red flags when animal welfare groups questioned whether hidden earpieces or cues were used to prompt the animal's responses. It wasn't ventriloquism, it was closer to a high-tech parlor trick. In 2020, allegations surfaced that some acts were scouted by producers, not discovered through open auditions. Former contestants spoke out, revealing how their backstories were tweaked or exaggerated to fit a narrative. One singer admitted her struggling single mom arc was amplified, despite her stable day job. Another claimed producers coached her to cry during her intro. Nothing was outright fake, but nothing was untouched. The line between reality and reality TV blurred until it was hard to tell where one ended and the other began. Social media amplified the skepticism. On TikTok, creators parroted BGD's formula with brutal accuracy, mimicking the dramatic intros. "I lost my goldfish at age 5, and now I sing to honor his memory." Reddit threads turned trauma arcs into a meme, with users joking about contestants' increasingly absurd backstories. Meme pages dubbed the show Britain's Got Trauma, poking fun at its reliance on emotional manipulation. Even when genuinely talented acts took the stage, like singer Tom Ball in 2022, whose voice was undeniably world-class, their impact was diluted by the noise. The focus wasn't on their skill, but on their journey, complete with soft-focus flashbacks and orchestral swells. Talent became secondary to narrative, skill overshadowed by sentiment. The numbers tell part of the story. In 2009, BGD's finale drew 18.3 million viewers, a peak that made it one of the UK's biggest TV events. By 2023, viewership had dropped to around 5.2 million, a sharp decline blamed on competition from streaming platforms and changing viewer habits. But the real issue wasn't just external, it was internal. The show's formula had become too transparent. Fans who once tuned in for surprises now rolled their eyes at the predictability. A 2021 survey by YouGov found that 62% of UK viewers felt talent shows relied too heavily on sob stories, with BGD cited as a prime offender. Online forums echoed this, with posts lamenting the loss of real moments in favor of manufactured drama. Yet, it's not just the show that's changed, it's us. The digital age has rewired how we consume entertainment. We're conditioned to crave quick hits of emotion, to scroll through TikTok clips that make us tear up or cheer in 30 seconds flat. BGT adapted to this, prioritizing moments that could be packaged for social media over experiences that resonated in real time. The result? A show that feels less like a live event and more like a content machine. Every audition is a potential ad, every tear a potential tweet. The raw unpredictability that defined early BGT, a shy salesman stunning the world, a dancing dog stealing hearts, has been replaced by a playbook. Step 1. Introduce the contestant with a tragic backstory. Step 2. Cue the emotional music. Step 3. Deliver a performance that's good but not groundbreaking. Step 4. Roll out the golden buzzer and confetti. Rinse, repeat, repost. This shift reflects broader trends in reality TV. A 2019 study by the University of Westminster found that modern talent shows increasingly prioritize narrative construction over raw performance, using editing and scripting to shape audience reactions. BGD's sister show, America's Got Talent, faced similar criticism, with fans noting recycled acts and overproduced segments. The global talent show format, once a fresh concept, has become a predictable industry, with producers like Simon Cowell's Psycho Entertainment mastering the art of emotional engineering. In 2020, Psycho reported revenues of £30 million, much of it from BGT and its international spin-offs, proving the formula's financial success even as its creative spark dimmed. But let's not romanticize the past too much. Early BGT wasn't perfect. It had its share of gimmicks and flops. Remember the guy who juggled knives while riding a unicycle and nearly took out a stagehand? Yet those imperfections were part of the charm. They reminded us that the show was human, messy, and gloriously unpolished. Today's BGT is anything but. It's a slick operation, from the lighting to the sound design to the carefully curated contestant pool. Even the controversies feel calculated, like mini scandals designed to keep the show trending. When Alesha Dixon wore a Black Lives Matter necklace in 2020, sparking debate, it generated headlines but also kept BGT in the news cycle. Coincidence? Maybe. But in an era where attention is currency, nothing feels accidental. So where did the magic go? It didn't vanish overnight. It was eroded, layer by layer, as BGT traded discovery for design. The show that once thrived on the unexpected now banks on the expected. A singer with a sad story will get a standing ovation. A kid with a cute act will make Amanda cry. A stunt performer will earn Simon's grudging respect. It's not a talent show anymore. It's a performance of a talent show, a carefully choreographed dance where every step is planned. The contestants aren't just performing. They're playing roles in a larger script. The judges aren't reacting. They're delivering lines. The audience isn't discovering. They're following a cue card. Yet, there's still talent buried beneath the gloss. Acts like Viggo Venn, the 2023 winner, brought a quirky, unpolished energy with his high-vis vest comedy routine, proving that raw creativity can still break through. Or take Callum Scott, who went from a 2015 BGT audition to a Grammy-nominated career, showing the show can still launch stars. But these moments are exceptions, not the rule. For every Viggo or Callum, there are a dozen acts drowned out by overproduced backstories and predictable edits. The talent is there, but it's fighting an uphill battle against a system that values virality over authenticity. Can BGT recapture its early magic? It's not impossible, but it would take a bold shift. Strip back the edits. Ditch the sob stories. Let the acts speak for themselves, without a montage or a piano track to prop them up. Focus on true amateurs, people who haven't already toured the global talent circuit. Make the golden buzzer rare again, a genuine shock rather than a weekly ritual. And trust the audience to feel something real, not something they've been coached to feel. The data supports this. A 2022 Ofcom report found that UK viewers crave authentic content over overproduced formats, with 68% saying they'd watch reality TV that felt less staged. But the challenge is bigger than BGT. We, the viewers, have changed too. We've been trained to expect emotional cues, to scroll past anything that doesn't grab us in 3 seconds. We reward predictability with likes and shares, even as we complain about it. The internet has made us both cynical and complicit, mocking BGT's tropes while clicking on its viral clips. Maybe the problem isn't just the show's formula. It's our addiction to the formula. We don't just watch BGT. We consume it, dissect it, meme it, and move on. The magic of a Paul Potts or Susan Boyle came from a time when we weren't so jaded, when a single performance could stop us in our tracks without needing a hashtag to amplify it. Still, there's hope. Every so often, an act slips through the cracks, not because of a backstory or a buzzer, but because they're undeniable. A singer who hits a note so pure it silences the room. A dancer who moves like they're rewriting gravity. A comedian who makes you laugh without a script. These moments remind us what BGT was and could be again, a stage for the unexpected, a place where talent doesn't need a narrative to shine. The question is whether the show, and its audience, will let it. Until then, Britain's Got Talent remains a paradox, a show full of incredible performers, trapped in a machine that's forgotten how to be surprised.